A peer advisory council can give you somewhere between 6 and 12 different people who can get to know your business, get to know you, and can help you stay accountable to what you say you're going to do.
Carl J. Cox here with $4 million strategies, and we are kicking off this topic on strategic execution with CEO Paul Menig of Business Accelerants. Paul, let us know, what is the best way you could tell our audience on how to do strategic execution the best way?
Well, don't leave it as a binder on a desk or in a bookcase behind you and never take it out. You have to be looking at it every day, every week, every month, every quarter, every year. One of the ways you can do that is to get together with other CEOs in a peer advisory council. For especially a small company that doesn't have the resources to have their own full-time board of advisors or a board of fiduciary people, a peer advisory council can give you somewhere between 6 and 12 different people who can get to know your business, get to know you, and can help you stay accountable to what you say you're going to do each and every meeting. In this case, monthly it would be. You should also, as many other organizations and frameworks suggest, meet weekly with your people, have a huddle to make sure that you're staying focused on the things that matter, and do 12 to 13 week sprints. It fits out well for the finances as well as the projects because you have to report quarterly. That 13 weeks is really a quarter in the financial world. And then finally, remember that no matter what you do, things change. You know, the Baltimore Bridge collapsing, suddenly everything changes. So be ready to turn on a dime to make sure that you stay accountable to the long range and adapt to the things that are happening daily.
So I love the concept you talked there about doing the weekly sprints. We're a big fan of that. What we found is so much, right? If you wait monthly, which is pretty common with the companies, or quarterly, which I'd say is even more frequent, the problem with that is there's 3 months of sometimes no decision being made. And even worse, sometimes there's 3 months of no execution, right? It's the classic, we're getting ready the night before to show to the board that we did something. What have you learned when working with companies, and what's their insights when they start getting into that weekly pulse of communication?
If they get into the weekly pulse of communication, the challenge is to make sure that they don't spend a lot of time talking and talking and talking, but they stay on topic and they come out away with a decision, with a responsibility for somebody and a deadline for when it's going to happen. Even at Daimler Truck, we had weekly stand-up meetings, and it became a kind of a peer pressure to make sure that you were concise and you walked away with your commitments and you came back with those commitments fulfilled.
See, you nailed something that's huge there, Paul, which is that literally that peer pressure. We as managers, if you're out there listening, and owners, you want to create that peer pressure and that appropriate level of competition where people do not want to show up for the meetings and not getting their stuff done, right? It's embarrassing. But what's more important is recognizing that if we're going to win as a team, we all have to complete our responsibilities each week. And by getting that done, we move it in the right direction. Paul, this has been absolutely outstanding. I loved it how you share these key parts on it. Any other key tips that you'd recognize as you got 30 seconds left?
We live in the Portland area where Nike is big. So the real answer in 30 seconds or less is just do it and do it and do it.
Love it. That is a great finish, Paul. And thank you so much for being on our $4 million Strategies podcast.
Good luck, everybody.